Why do some of the richest regions on Earth, Australia, Africa, North America, Siberia, appear so empty in the pages of history? Vast lands overflowing with rivers, forests, and mineral wealth. And yet we're told they were home to nothing but scattered tribes living in primitive huts, fishing and hunting for survival. No cities, no industry, no roads, no ports, nothing. That's not just unlikely. That's suspicious. What if these lands weren't always empty? What if they were devastated by something so massive, so final, that entire civilizations were erased? And what if the history we've been taught was carefully rewritten to hide the truth? Today we take a deep dive into Africa, the continent with more secrets buried beneath its sands than perhaps any other place on Earth. When people hear nuclear war in the 19th century, they laugh. Against whom? They ask. Africa? But there was nothing there. No, there's nothing left there. And that's a different story. Let's begin with ancient maps. Maps that show Africa full of rivers, lakes, and cities. Dense populations once thriving along every major waterway. Today, most of those lakes are gone, those cities forgotten. Northern Africa, once brimming with life, is now the Sahara, the largest desert in the world. Some of those ancient cities, Algechet, Setra, Las Letem, Grion, are now marked by giant, unexplained craters. And then there's the Richat structure, or the Eye of the Sahara, 50 kilometers wide. Its glassy fused stone hinting at extreme heat, like that of a nuclear blast. Africa is rich in minerals. It's right next to Europe, practically within arm's reach. So why wasn't it seriously colonized? Until the late 19th century. Meanwhile, the Spanish were sailing across the entire Atlantic to South America in the 1490s, thousands of kilometers away. Why wait 400 years to tap into a continent full of gold, copper, uranium, and diamonds, when it's just across the Mediterranean? Was it really about not being interested? Or was there something else, or someone in Africa that made European powers hesitate? Something they weren't ready to confront? It's a historical gap that smells less like coincidence and more like cover-up. In the Upper Nile region, ancient oral traditions speak of the Bachwezi, a mysterious people with light skin and impossible abilities. They came from the north, they built stone cities, they carved irrigation channels through solid rock, they soared across lakes, healed the sick, and vanished as suddenly as they appeared. When Europeans first arrived in Uganda in 1862, many locals believed the Bachwezi had returned. Modern Ugandan tribes, Bakonjo, Toro, Ganda, still trace their lineage to these ancient figures. Just myths? Or distant memories of a real civilization lost to time and possibly war? Africa is home to hundreds of ancient structures that have no place in the primitive narrative assigned to the continent. The African Bell King, a massive bell-shaped object with no known origin, function, or production method. Over 400 pyramids in Sudan, many show signs of extreme heat and damage at their tips, almost as if melted. Axum obelisks, Ethiopia. Stone monoliths raised without cranes or steel, one reaching 24 meters in height. The Tanda pits, Uganda. Over 200 vertical shafts cut directly into bedrock, each up to 70 meters deep and precisely shaped. Locals call the area Walumbe, the place of death. These pits appear to be mine shafts, yet in most cases, the minerals are gone or were never present in significant quantities. Which leads to one conclusion: these sites were already exploited. Long ago, the resources were taken. In 1972, a French company mining uranium in Gabon discovered something unexpected. The concentration of uranium-235 was significantly lower than normal. About 200 kilograms were missing. Further analysis revealed that the ore resembled spent nuclear fuel. In 1975, scientists proposed the idea of a natural nuclear reactor that had operated 1.8 billion years ago. They claimed it had sustained a reaction for 500,000 years, without human intervention. Modern reactors require constant supervision. A single error can lead to disaster. Yet we're told this ancient one ran itself without melting down for millennia? A more plausible theory: Oklo was not a reactor, but a nuclear waste site. Its containment was perfect. No leakage, no contamination. If it was a waste site, there must have been a reactor. But where was it, and who built it? In the Gambia, one of the least industrialized countries in Africa, lies Uganda International Airport. Its runway is 3,600 meters long, suitable for even the heaviest modern aircraft. But it wasn't built from scratch. Locals paved over massive, pre-existing stone slabs. These slabs were already aligned, cut and shaped with unusual precision. Satellite images show unused extensions on both sides of the main runway. Some sections continue under layers of soil, suggesting the structure was once even larger. Its design mirrors that of modern airstrips, with no known historical purpose. Could this have been a runway? And if so, what was taking off? In the 1960s, prisoners digging near Luzira prison in Uganda unearthed a ceramic statue. It depicted an elongated head with a pronounced chin and a wig-like structure resembling a judge's headdress. Fragments of the body were also found, torso and limbs, all carefully shaped. Workers refused to continue digging, claiming the statue brought misfortune. Nearby were hundreds of pottery shards, similar to those found at Fort Mugeni. Fort Mugeni features ringed trenches carved into bedrock, stretching for 6 kilometers. Similar trench systems exist in Malta and northern Peru. Cultures separated by oceans also found an irrigation network and a mysterious clay cylinder with unknown symbols. Many believe the site was once inhabited by the Bachwezi. The architectural and ceramic similarities suggest a wider, possibly Pan-African network. In 1867, German geologist Karl Mauch discovered the ruins of a vast stone complex in southeastern Africa. Locals called it Zimbabwe, meaning stone house in the Shona language. He found a 250-meter-long elliptical wall, 10 meters high and 5 meters thick at the base. Inside were enclosures, passageways, and a massive conical tower with no clear purpose. Mauch found artifacts of Persian and Arab origin, but couldn't believe Africans built it. At the time, mainstream archaeology dismissed the idea of sub-Saharan civilizations capable of stone architecture, but over 400 similar sites have been found across Zimbabwe and neighboring regions. Architectural features mirror patterns seen in Western Sudan, Mozambique, and even Sri Lanka. The ceramics from Great Zimbabwe closely match finds from Fort Mugeni, suggesting cultural linkage. Clay cylinders from Zimbabwe, Mugeni, and even Cyprus share similar symbols. From Uganda to Zimbabwe, from Gabon to the Gambia, a pattern begins to take shape. We find megalithic structures and deep mining shafts, carved with methods unaccounted for by known cultures. We find pyramids, stone cities, and platforms precisely aligned with no known purpose. We find metallurgy, infrastructure, and artifacts where textbooks say none should exist. We hear oral traditions describing beings of advanced knowledge and mysterious origins. And we find symbols recurring across continents with no clear explanation. Taken alone, these clues might be dismissed. Together, they form a web that cannot be ignored. The same tools, the same cuts, the same silence in official records. This is not a collection of accidents. It is the echo of a civilization erased. Could the descendants of the Bachwezi, or another lost African civilization, have once reached the nuclear age? Could they have mined, enriched, and stored uranium long before the modern world discovered how? And if so, what happened? Was there a war, a collapse, a deliberate erasure? Today we walk through deserts, unaware they may have once been cities. We dismiss myths without asking what truth they were built to preserve. What else might be buried beneath the sand, beneath the silence, beneath the story? The past isn't lost. It's hidden.